Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Majora's Mask, the Zelda game which has no equal to this day. The most psychologically twisted and to some messed up installment in the series, as the adult in a child's body, the hero of time, faced the 5 stages of grief in Termina to prevent the apocalypse of this land, specifically within Clocktown, and from here on the way to the 4 temples of Woodfall, Snowhead, Great Bay and Stone Tower. Hence, when the host of this dungeon lore series Bandit Games asked me to do the mountain temples of my 3rd favorite Zelda game of all time, well, before the release of Tears of the Kingdom, I had to accept. Though I wonder why he insisted on me doing the 2nd and 4th dungeon. I guess that makes sense, so be sure to complete the Triforce on YouTube, like, subscribe and press the notification bell for both of our channels. There's something truly magical about mountains as they tell a tale of wild nature and humanoids attempting to conquer and tame them. At least in The Legend of Zelda, and since this is a Christmas special, then we'll begin with the first ever 3D and to this day least inviting ice dungeon of this franchise, Snowhead Temple, which is quite fitting as even the exterior of this temple screams stay away as it is shaped as a 3D Zelda ice icon, the Freesuit. An enemy that is native to the temple's interiors and which debuted in Ocarina of Time's Ice Cavern.
But who built this imposing structure on a volcanic peak? One which Skull Kid and Majora took advantage of to unleash Got and throw the Gorons of the otherwise green range to the desperate state of freezing and bargaining. Was it the ancestors of the current Goron village? After all, we have the invisible giant Goron in front of the temple blowing everyone away with an icy breath, pretending to come out from the Freezard entrance. Then we have Darmani, who was on his way here before he contracted a little condition called, death, causing him to bargain with Link to bring him back to life, and upon realizing the futility of it, passing on and leaving the task of Snowhead to the child with the ocarina. The Gorons might have shaped the exterior to warn anyone about the dangers lurking inside this icy basement filled with magma, or they may have simply wanted to keep it exclusive to themselves and inaccessible for the inhabitants of the mountain village and Clock Town, a hidden detail that we'll soon get back to.
Okay, but baby, it's cold outside, and well, this part of Termina, so let's move to even more ice and far more dangerous hazards within Snowhead Temple's interiors. Minus its lava basement naturally, since nearly all of the 4 floors above it are filled with rock and ice. A great combination for this channel. Fucking rocks! Joking aside, it is clear that this structure was built for Goron punching and pounding, which points towards the construction prowess of the mighty rock people. But what purpose did this temple serve? Was it a Goron shrine, seeing how obsessed they were with the structure? It is certainly a possibility, seeing that the mechanical goat, translated directly from the Japanese version, is, well, goat, was thrown in there by Majora to curse and freeze the homeland of the Gorons, but also seal the giant of the temple, causing all of the tragic events that befell them.
These also include the 2 Wizrobes who blocked the path to Got, and the race to bring him down in what seems to have served as the circular Goron racing arena. A theory and lore option which is very plausible, seeing the popularity of Goron racing among the rock-hardened mountain tribe. It is just that the appearance of Got ruined their indoor arena. Fittingly enough, the pastime sport of the Gorons is also what ends up lifting the curse and Link reaching the Giant of Snowhead to call him when the time to break the cycle arrived. Sadly, this meant that the curse of the temple threatened the Gorons along with the moon over and over again until the hero of time managed to defeat Majora. And that covers the very fitting for this Christmas upload, Snowhead Temple, a likely Goron religious and cultural sporting center with the most prestigious racetrack on its top floor. A site of worshipping the Giant of Snowhead after each race, but also a place of competitive spirit, until everything froze over due to Got, resulting in one of the competitors, Darmani, ending up as an actual dead spirit. Now over to the other Highland Reigns, or more specifically the former mountain kingdom of Termina, Icona and its Stone Tower Temple.
The inspiration of this iconic Zelda dungeon most likely derives from the original testament of Judaism, Christianity and Islam, the Tower of Babel, also fitting for the Zelda Christmas collab. A tower built by man to reach the one God, though with a twist. Unlike the language move of God against the construction team of Babel, in the case of Termina, the people building the stone tower were prevented from reaching heaven by a far more cruel divine prank, as the theorized goddess of time has also been theorized to have turned the structure upside down and in the process sent everyone on it at that tragic moment to their death. Following this godly lesson, no one has dared to challenge the potential goddess of time again, and the structure remained abandoned until once again the people of Termina messed up. You see, Termina used to once be united as one, as the storyboard in Clocktown details, and the oath to order was sung to worship the giants, the guardian gods and creators of the 4 worlds that make up Termina from its center: Woodfall, Snowhead, Great Bay, and Ikana. The giants live with the people as they saw it as their duty to protect them. That was until the day they realized that the need for protection declined, so they departed for Termina's 4 corners, which angered one of their closest friends, the Skull Kid, who caused mischief against the people of the land. They called out for the protectors, who in return threatened to destroy the Skull Kid, hence he departed for the Lost Woods and the borderlands of Hyrule. That was until he stole Majora's Mask from the Happy Mask salesman and got corrupted by it, bringing him back to Termina. Though long before that, due to the separation of the different regions, the giants had no longer interest in leaving their temples for Clocktown. Even when they were called for the Carnival of Time, they all stayed in their temples, including the giant of the Stone Tower.
And for good reasons, as below the tower the split people were at their throats. The kingdom of Ikana went to war against the Garo people, a conflict with no winner, but filled to the brim graveyards and valleys along with resentment to the opposing side even after death. Ikana Castle stood through the turmoil, but separating it and the core of Termina was now a big wasteland filled with angry Garo. This mess soon resulted in their own passing, though the lack of acceptance that the war had ended inconclusively caused their skeletons and spirits to linger on in the throne room until the day the hero of time arrived. Meanwhile, one of the 2 Garo masters retreated to the Stone Tower Temple. There he found, learned the secret of, and held dearly to the ultimate divine weapon that once tricked the builders of the tower. Now, however, it would be the Garo master's ultimate weapon against the Ikana warriors, the light arrows. He would wait until the day he would drop down from the hole in the ceiling and strike his foe. When the temple was cursed by Majora with twin mold, the temple that once required exact totems of the dead became more hazardous. In other words, perfect for King Egos du Ikana, who now accepting that he had been defeated sent his last warrior, Link, along with the Elegy of Emptiness to storm the tower now held by his sworn enemy. An unexpected duel for the Garo dual blade wielder, who put his all to stop this intruder, but instead, through the trial of combat, gained respect for this challenger. He was ultimately defeated and had to die as the law of the Garo dictated, but he had one final message to his victor. He said, quote, "To think I could be defeated. Although my rival, you were spectacular. I shall take my bow by opening my heart and revealing my wisdom. If you shoot that which releases the sacred golden light into the blood-stationed red emblem outside the temple, it shall rearrange things, in which the earth is born in the heavens and the moon born on the earth. Do not forget these words. Die I shall, leaving no corpse. That is the law of the Garo." Then he blows up. End quote.
And the rest after defeating the first Igor with the light arrows gifted by the Garo Master is history. Why do we say that? As moving deeper into the inverted temple is a path to defy death itself. Something the French name of the final mini-boss of the temple, Batman, makes abundantly clear. For sure, in English, the Grim Reaper. Joking aside, it's not Batman. In English, it's Gomez. Though he can also be seen as the dark moon standing in contrast to the golden sun of the Garo and his light arrows, just like King Egos of Ikana avoided the sun. And we also have the mirror shield, which well, also reflects sun. And this is very interesting, as Ikana is the kingdom of the dead, and they and bats aren't exactly active during daylight when the sun is out. Sun equals life, moon equals death. And unlike the still alive Garo Master, Batman doesn't share a single word upon defeat, which speaks for itself. At least as fall-grounded Link the boss key in all versions of the game, unlike a certain Giant's Mask, which had a much more meaningful location behind the final Igor in the N64 version of the game. Anyway, let's return to our favorite tragic figure of this dungeon, the Garo Master, who went from being alive to ending up not one last time, as he jumped down through a hole in the ceiling, the same hole as Link jumped through after turning the tower upside down to face Twin Mold and reach the final of the 4 giants, playing Oath to Order to gain his attention and support for the decisive hour after he, just like the other giants, had been sealed away by Skull Kid under Majora's influence and monsters/temple bosses. The last giant which needed to hear Oath to Order, and once again at Clocktown's Clock Tower, a requirement to successfully confront Skull Kid and Majora and enter inside the moon in the final hours. But that is a final dungeon filled with lore that is covered along with the Woodfall and Great Bay temples at Bandit Games channel. All that is left for me to say before you head over is that we would love if you leave a like on this video and subscribe to our 2 channels and with notification bell on. Last, a big thanks to all patreon.com/Cameron patrons, and in particular, raw producer Charles Shush. You rock, and please enjoy Bandit's part of this collaboration.